Hello, everyone, and welcome to another FSU Sports Player Spotlight. I'm Austin, and today Ziva and I will be interviewing Braeden, one of our star League of Legends players.
So my name is Braeden Callahan. I'm from Jupiter, Florida. I'm a current sophomore, 19 years old. I'm studying criminology. Currently, I'm the top laner for the Garnet League team here at FSU. Other games I play just for fun are Valorant. I play a lot of Destiny, games sort of like that.
How long have you been playing video games?
Wow. I think the first video game I actually played extensively was Halo Reach back in like 6th or 7th grade. And that was
how
sort
I
of
started too.
where I got into it.
Yeah, that's sweet. Like Xbox 360?
Yes, Xbox 360, Xbox Live defined my childhood.
That's great. Yeah.
Nice. So that's a good way to start with shooters, I'd say, on console. So how did that help you translate over to PC, League of Legends, other games you play?
So I stuck basically with just an Xbox 360 playing exclusively casually up until I think my senior year of high school. One of my friends at the time told me about League, and I had heard about it, and I sort of just dismissed it. I wasn't interested in either building a PC or doing anything with PC gaming. Finally, I sort of had an excuse to build a PC through some sort of school project, and I just took the option when I had it. Started playing League, and I've never looked back.
All right. It's a pretty cool entrance into that. Existential Pain. What is the story behind that?
Existential Pain, shortened to FSU Pain, as it is now. There's really no story behind. It was like 9th grade, and I wanted to be edgy. So that was like the first thing that came to mind. Unfortunately, it sort of stuck around throughout college, and I couldn't get rid of it, so I just decided to shorten it, and Pain is where it's at now.
It's a fantastic gamer tag. It's been the base of a lot of our memes at FSU Esports, so we love it.
It's catchy enough. It does the job.
So speaking of that, how has your time with just FSU Esports been?
This is sort of personal, but I had a tough time joining clubs throughout high school, and I was sort of scared it was going to be the same thing in college. When I got to campus, there was some sort of event being put on between a combination of both this club and the ASLC. It was some sort of either Smash tournament or something like that. I went just to check it out. From there, I got a Discord link, and I sort of just popped in and said, hey. That brought me to where I am today. I've been playing on the team since freshman year for the league team for 2 years. It's been like another family.
To build on that, what does FSU Esports mean to you?
Well, like I said, it's just like another family, a home away from home. Some of my best friends I've met through this organization. It means a lot to me as a person. It means a lot to me as a teammate. My team's always trying to be the best. I love every one of them. I don't know. I can't really ask for more.
Do you have sort of any expectations going into this CLOL season?
So we actually just came out of the season. Unfortunately, it was all canceled due to the coronavirus and whatever. But where we finished was, I would say, well above what was expected of us, especially with our seed. So I think if we can maintain this roster and just improve on the little things that we make mistakes with, we can definitely take it all the way.
FSU LoL Garnet has been one of the most successful FSU Esports teams for the better part of a year now. How does that influence you and the team?
Well, I think there's a lot of pressure, being where we are. No one really expected us to do this well. I don't think I expected us to do this well, unfortunately. It was just sort of in the back of my mind, maybe we can do this, maybe we can't. So actually doing as well as we were doing definitely puts a lot of pressure on me to try to play the best that I possibly can. I want to try to represent this community as best as I can, and I'm sure everyone else on my team feels the same way.
Yeah, so speaking a little bit more to that, what is the team dynamic between you and the rest of the guys on the Garnet team like?
I mean, we're all best friends. It's perfect. I mean, I don't know. I see some other teams that have issues between players. There's some strife. There's almost none of that. There's friendly banter. Everyone just gets along. In and outside of game, we're all friends.
Yeah, so in game though, who shot calls, who does the behind the scenes play, who takes the lead when they have to? Is there
So most of the in-game delegation and leading goes to our support. seeing as he's both the best and most experienced player on the team. He sort of guides us through what we should be doing at all points in the game. He calls out individual mistakes we're making, and then after the game, he's the one that goes back through the VODs and makes sure that there's things we can work and improve on.
So not to you touched on this a little bit earlier. You talked about how COVID-19 has affected CLOL, and now we're curious to see how it's impacted your team as a whole. If you could kind of give us some insight on that, that'd be great.
So having this large break is, I guess, for the better and worse. Some people specifically are having trouble keeping up just playing the game by themselves and making sure they keep the practice in, which is hard to do because it is just a grind at that point. Not being able to play in as many of these competitions is definitely affecting the way we play as a team. We're having to, work on things that we didn't have to before to sort of get back in the swing of things.
So how are you all like working to overcome the additional challenges that like COVID-19 presented?
So we are still playing in tournaments, albeit at a lesser extent. We just played in a tournament recently where we unfortunately didn't do that well, but we're going to take these experiences that we have, the little bits of tournaments that we're playing in, and just work on what we're messing up there.
Sounds like you guys are handling it to the best of your abilities, definitely. To continue on that, how did you feel when you first heard that the season was canceled?
A little bit heartbroken, to be honest. It's definitely helped that we're still getting prize money regardless, but getting to where we got and then sort of having to drop everything and just move on definitely hurts. Okay. I think we could have gone a lot further, and I was very much looking forward to playing these better teams, sort of the underdog story as it was.
Right.
But
so there's probably definitely that feeling of like, what if, that you'll never know exactly how it could have gone.
So you said something about you were still making prize money, and Wall Garnet is one of the first teams under FSU Esports to like actually earn scholarship money from a competition. How does that make you feel, even though like the circumstances now may not be like the most ideal?
It's sort of surreal in a sense to sort of like be a college kid playing video games, I guess for fun, and then making money out of it. I don't know how to explain it. I never thought I'd get to this point, and here I am.
So what were some like highlights of this season?
So I think the biggest highlight of the season for us was beating UT Dallas. They were seeded, I think, second in the region, and we were seeded somewhere in the 10s, 15, 16. So that was an absolutely major upset. I think everyone on our team played pretty much perfectly. That if there's one moment to remember from the season, it's that series. And winning that series, the rush, the high, coming off of that and thinking, yeah, if we can do this, we can do pretty much anything.
Right. It must have definitely felt amazing. So I guess those moments can probably motivate you a little bit. So to speak about just motivation during these kind of times, how are you motivated to continue to play for next season? Or are you feeling a little bit of a lack of motivation now that everything's going on the way that it is?
So I want to say it's a mix of both. I still want to get better in every way that I can because I know that as a player, there's a lot of stuff I have to improve on. There's mistakes that I make constantly. And as much as I beat myself up over them, it won't get better unless I keep practicing. But having all this time and this just nothingness happening sort of kills the drive to do anything, ironically.
Right.
So at times I find it hard just to get back on and keep playing solo queue because it is just like a mental grind, but I'll find a way to do it.
So what is getting better, like you said, what does that look like for you? Like if you can give me like some specifics maybe.
Yeah, so I think myself as a player, there's a lot of things I have to work on in terms, I'm just going to explain it in league terms, like in lane state.
Yeah.
As a player, I think I play way too aggressively. I don't have enough vision placed. I don't watch the map enough, and I'm not communicative in good ways. There are times when I won't be telling my teammates exactly what I need to tell them, what's going on in my lane, and then they'll come up to where I am and just be confused as to what's going on because I haven't been communicating well.
Right. So what is next for League of Legends Garnet?
So as far as I'm aware, there's going to be some sort of tryouts in summer and potentially some like reconfiguring of team rosters. After that, I think Jordan, the game manager and now president, I guess, was discussing getting practice in and just getting ready for fall so we can start playing CLOL again. Because that's now that we have this performance, our target is above that.
Right. You put up quite high expectations for yourselves, I think, at this point.
Yeah, and I don't think that's a bad thing.
No, definitely not. We're happy to see it.
Mm-hmm. So what's next? What's next for you besides just grinding solo queue?
Well, some things that I want to do, just as a player,
Mm-hmm.
because we aren't finding as much time practicing or in tournaments as a collegiate team, I do want to find an amateur team I can play for, so I can continue to practice in a team environment. Because the game is
Mm-hmm.
entirely different when you play it by yourself versus with the team. Like I said before, I still just want to keep getting better as much as I can. That's pretty much it.
So what advice would you give to future and incoming collegiate esports players, knowing what you know now?
So the number one thing that I told myself and that I'll tell other people is that you cannot be afraid to take risks or you put yourself out there, really. Trying out for a team and not making it isn't the end of the world at all. If anything, it's just sort of like, okay, what can I do better?
Right.
I think that the most important thing to aspiring esports athletes is to keep trying.
Okay.
And just if you give up after one loss or you get tilted and your mental just explodes and you're like, okay, this is it, I'm done, you'll never get better. Well, another thing is when you're on a team, I think it's important to sort of recognize that you are on a team. As much as you want to put yourself as the star player, it is a team effort. And you have to work together with everybody else to try to win. Everyone's not going to play perfectly at all the time. It doesn't give you any excuse to sort of just shut down and blame it on them. I have that problem sometimes where I don't want to admit mistakes are my own, but I think that's the most important thing to get better.
Right.
So
Great
what
advice.
can you? Yeah, sorry.
That sounded a little bit like pretentious, but
No, it's very fair.
No, yeah.
It's important to look at the team aspects too, as well as the individual play, I think.
Right.
So what can you tell to those of us who might feel discouraged gaming? Like someone who might want to just give up. What could you say to us folks, including myself on this one?
Wow. Well, I think that there is some benefit to taking a break, just distancing yourself. If it's really that bad, taking a break, going back to doing whatever you were, and then coming back to it. And if you still have the issue, it's not a bad thing to just drop it. If it's that unhealthy. But if you still really do just want to get better and you're having a slump or whatever, the most important thing is to recognize that you'll get over it. I have these slumps all the time where I'll go on massive loss streaks, down and down and down and down. And it's
Relatable.
tilting. Yeah. So, and I will get upset, but I just keep going. Eventually there will be an end to it. And as long as you can mentally prepare yourself for that, you'll overcome it.
Great advice. But it takes
sound like an old man.
No, I'm sure you've learned a lot. I know League of Legends ladder is one of the most toxic and, well, it's been known to be. I haven't.
No, you're correct.
Most toxic and probably hardest to climb on. So I'm going to take some of that advice from my Overwatch. Climb, hopefully, or drop. We'll see. I guess on the subject, sorry. Subject of toxicity, because I just brought it up, right? How do you deal with toxicity either on your own that you may bring sometimes? I know it happens to me when I'm playing sometimes, or in the team, or from teammates on queue or on ladder, or even within the actual Garnet team. Not that our Garnet team would ever be toxic. That would never happen.
So I think that one of the greatest things about being on a team like Garnet is that it's hard to be toxic when everyone's generally trying to have as much fun and win as possible. Everyone's a friend, so it's hard to just be toxic, if that makes any sense.
Right, yeah.
In terms of a solo queue or a ladder play, generally, if it's getting really bad, just mute. That's the easiest thing to do. If I'm in Discord with someone, I may vent to them, but I'll never type. I think typing at your teammates is probably the worst thing to do. It doesn't accomplish anything, just makes people madder.
Mm-hmm.
So worst case scenario, just mute.
Right.
That basically wraps up our little interview here. So is there anything you want to plug? You stream on Twitch, or do you want to be hey, follow me on Twitter or anything like that?
I do occasionally stream on Twitch. It's very sporadic. Twitch.tv/existential_pain. And then I guess I'll just shout out Garnet. You guys are awesome. Love y'all.
Oh, that was wholesome. That's the wholesome content we need right now.
That was a really wholesome interview. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Braeden.
My pleasure. Thanks for having me.